Hare Krishna. The journey to realizing I am not the body begins with living I am more than the body. So the fundamental teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, as given in 2.13, is that we are not the body. We are the souls within the body, and the body is like a dress, for outer dress, an outer covering, akin to a dress. And yet, even if we understand our spiritual identity, we can't just reject our body. We have to live in the body lifelong. So how do we live in the body? To live in the body means we have to fulfill the body's basic needs, and we are usually driven by the body in our various activities. So for us to actually realize that I am not the body, we have to disentangle our consciousness from the body and elevate our consciousness to the spiritual level, where we realize our identity as souls, as parts of Krishna, meant to love and serve Him. Now such liberation and elevation of our consciousness is most easily and efficaciously possible through Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because Bhakti Yoga doesn't ask us to reject our body, rather it uses our body in the service of Krishna, in the pursuit of spirit, by engaging the body in the service of Krishna. So this spirit of dovetailing the body requires that we tolerate bodily urges, that we don't let bodily urges determine our actions. Bodily stimuli alone determine our actions. That's why, and this is evident in the next verse after the verse in the Gita which talks about a non-bodily identity, that is 2.13, and the next verse is 2.14, which states Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhadaha Agama Paino Nityas Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. So Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, that, O Kaunteya, with the contact of the senses and the sense objects, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhadaha, Sheet Ushna Sukha Dukkhadaha, that there is the contact of the senses and sense objects can lead to heat and cold, can lead to pleasure and pain. Such dualities, what should you do? Agama paino nityas, knowing that they have beginning, they have end, they are temporary. Therefore, tam stitikshasva bharata, tam stitikshasva. Arjuna, therefore, tolerate them. So titikshasva. So now when we tolerate our non-bodily side, our bodily urges, for the cause of duty, for the cause of dharma. Now what is that dharma? The dharma can be at various levels, but the Bhagavad Gita describes the highest level of dharma, which it calls for in 18.66, is bhakti. Performance of Bhakti Yoga, which involves harmonizing all our duties in a spirit of devotion to Krishna. And the next verse, 2.15, assures us that if we stay unswayed by bodily duties and stick firm on the path of dharma, then we will attain liberation. Yam hina vithayante purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. That na vithayante, one who is not disturbed by samadukha sukham dhiram, one stays firm within dukkha and sukha by being sober. Dhiram, the word dhira had come earlier in 2.13 also. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. That's it. One stays sober. Then what happens? So amritatvaya kalpate. Amritatvaya kalpate. One will attain immortality. Now, as the soul is immortal, attaining immortality means realizing our spiritual identity. So now we theoretically in 2.13 it says that we intellectually understand we are not the body. Then 2.14 says tolerate bodily urges and stick on the path of dharma, on the path of ultimately bhakti. And 2.15 says if you stay firm without getting swayed, then we will attain liberation. So now 2.14 basically 2.13 informs us you are not the body, but 2.14 urges us to decide our actions based on not just bodily considerations. At our present level, we feel bodily urges and desires, and for most people, such bodily urges and desires, they determine their whole life. They do whatever they do because of the bodily urges and desires. And because we too are at the bodily level of consciousness right now, so we don't feel the need for practicing devotional service. We feel primarily the urge to satisfy the body. But even when we don't feel the need to practice devotional service, if we intellectually understand the need and we practice devotional service nonetheless, then we are living by that principle, I am more than the body. So I cannot suddenly act that I am not the body and reject the body's demands entirely. But I am more than the body means that I don't let the body's demands alone determine all my decisions. Even if something is not pleasing to the body, still I will do it if it is actually awakening for my soul. It is actually positive, it is beneficial for me spiritually. Now when we do this, then we gradually realize profound non-material happiness, non-bodily happiness that comes by the practice of bhakti, and that comes even when we are getting no gratification at body level. And this helps us to understand, this helps us to realize I am more than the body. There is a side to me that is actually experiencing this happiness. And if we keep persevering in bhakti, then we will realize over a period of time gradually that actually there is not just a non-body material side to me, but actually that non-material side is the real me. As the spiritual happiness becomes more and more real and more deeper for us, we realize that the part of me that experiences the spiritual happiness, that is the real me. And then we realize I am not the body, I am the soul. And that realization, when it is harmonized with the understanding that we are servants of Krishna, that comprises liberation. We are already situated in the liberated stage, and then when we eventually, the body lifespan gets exhausted, we will become liberated and return to Krishna for life eternal with Him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.